Hello, Warriors. How's everyone doing today? It's great to be back from my vacation. How you doing, Michael? Ingmar? James? I went to the grocery store. Hello, Bran. How are you? KMan?
I was going to ask if you went somewhere
Agent?
hot now.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm so rested now. Patrick? Sinatra? All you action junkies, how you doing? Ryan, good morning to you.
Morning,
Here,
mate.
Here's a key question. Is this a breakdown or a stop hunt?
It's holding at the moment. I suspect there's stops through
They
that
got him.
75 area.
Don't you think they got him here?
No,
What was
that's a
this? Oh, seven.
38.2 fib right there.
Oh, okay.
That
All right.
first hold was the 38.2 fib of the move up from what, October, November?
Okay. Because retail traders, the low here was 108.77.
Yeah.
Um, you know, that they had their stops at 76, right? That's what most do. Well, I use important stops, and we got to 72, so these were elected. Okay, so just kind of wait and see. Anything that you're waiting for this week that's going to be a catalyst for determining the direction of the dollar? Because I looked at this, and for a while I was looking for maybe a pullback into this zone, but I looked at it. All it was sideways. It couldn't even really correct. Um, so I'd say the dollar's okay as long as we're above 102.70 or so right
Yeah,
now.
there was a few people citing the Iranian Guard missile thing attack last night as a
Yeah,
reason why the dollar's lifted off, but it hasn't hit gold, it hasn't hit oil.
yeah,
The dollar all out on its own, really. Um, so yeah, it's what we're
yeah,
waiting for. We're waiting for more data. We're waiting, a lot coming from the UK. We've got some Fed speakers, including Waller. We've got this World Economic Forum rubbish going on where we get to hear from Lagarde 30 times this week. So yeah, it's the big story is still
yields.
and it's yields, but it's switched from the Fed to the ECB. The market pricing March cuts, pricing 4, 5, 6 cuts, and all we've heard from ECB members, and some of them even saying that they may not even get a cut this year, and to wait till the summer. So there's still this big divergence between what the market thinks and what the central banks are telling us. So at some point, the price has got to go one way or the other. Either meets the central banks or it meets the market.
Yeah. So I mean, after this move we had in yields, towards the end of last year, first week here, and then it almost looks like the dollar. It really didn't correct in price much, kind of went sideways, but maybe the dollar is, dollar's taking out similar highs here. So
Well, again,
maybe is,
if you walk in first thing this morning, Dale, you look at your FX prices, you think, oh, dollar's well up, yields must be trading well above 4%, and then you look at it
yeah,
and think, what's happening now?
barely, yeah, barely 4%. Yen, you have levels you're watching.
147 for me in the end. We've
Okay.
got close, but yeah, there's the another fib up there. It's the 61.8 of the big drop from 152. That's 147.45, but 147 on its own is a decent enough level.
Nice Canada trade by our leader, General Morrill,
Thanks.
34.72.
Thanks, buddy. I got out of it actually last night around in the 70s, and just because we were running right into resistance. But yeah, I pushed right above the 200 DMA, and we got CPI today. So today's a big day for the Canadians,
Yeah,
if you will.
that's a great trade from 32 we identified. You wrote it really nice, Blake. I don't think it's finished. Uh, Although I had this line in here forever, we could get maybe some kind of pullback. I think it's got 36 in it before it's finished because I'm still looking for 104.70 in Dixie. So if that's going to happen, there's more left in Canada. And we're only 100 pips away from where I'm going to start nibbling at the long side of Aussie. So,
I'm sorry, this
but
has nothing to do with, well, the Canadian, well, it has something to do with oil. Shell suspends Red Sea shipments amid fears of more
yeah,
Houthi attacks.
yeah, it's really escalating over there.
Yeah, that's via the Wall Street Journal that just came out, and crude popped above 73.50 on that news just now.
All right. And Ryan,
Sorry.
you're, the missiles that were sent were from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard claim credit for that action.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
yeah,
okay. So it's definitely escalating because it was their proxies. This is part of this is Iran,
yeah,
not a
exactly.
proxy. Okay,
But you would have
so
thought again, oil would have been sailing. You know, Brent would have been well above $80 on something like that, and it hardly budged.
yeah, yeah, and gold
Gold,
down and
gold
dollar
down.
up. It's almost
Yeah,
like risk off, isn't it?
yeah,
And I
almost.
think Blake, I gleaned from your week ahead video that you were addressing risk off because I saw the title with all the divergences and stuff. So you're looking for some risk off soon, right?
Yeah, I think you got to be a little nervous up here. I mean, the problem is I don't know if you probably, I don't know if you've seen it yet. We were talking about it yesterday on the Face show because we missed you yesterday, Dale.
I was on
Nikkei.
my decade vacation.
Yeah, hey, it's good. It's good. You got to take
I
a couple of
went
days
to the
off every,
grocery store and
10 years.
walked around the block a few times. I'm telling you, man, I know I'm living large.
Good. Very cool. Well, but look at the Nikkei. The Nikkei rallied quite
Still,
substantially and hit the 161% extension actually today.
oh,
So
okay. So then we're there. We might be there.
yeah, I mean
And
we might have just, well, I mean, we came within just a few points of the 161% extension, but that, that tends to happen. You kind of get real close and whatever. But yeah,
okay.
real big move.
Here, and it reversed.
It's trying to reverse, just ahead of that number. It's trying to find some sellers. So yeah,
Hard to fade. Look at the RSI's at 80.
it's pretty big.
How about DAX? DAX didn't make a new high, did it? No. No, there it is.
No.
Yeah, kind of left a little gap lower, probably on the missile strike. Okay. I want to bring KMan in. Welcome back, buddy.
Hey, welcome back, Dale. I mean, we've
Oh,
missed
thanks. Yeah. I don't know how they did it without us, bro.
uh,
But anyway, thoughts coming into
the
today?
Canadians
Huh?
for the Canadian CPI. Yesterday, Blake was trying to figure out how to say Canadian, and so I think Canadian may be something that we should think about how to pronounce it. No?
All right.
Um, yeah, I think that's going to be perhaps the clincher for the 135 then in the dollar CAD, right?
Yeah.
If that comes in a bit weaker than expected. And the other one that I'm really will be paying attention to is a bit later Feds Waller, because he in November was a hawk who turned more dovish. So I'm quite curious to see if he keeps that dovish stance or if that was a bit of a mistake of his, in which case the dollar would probably ramp higher if he goes back into the everything is good and inflation is sticky camp. So those are the
Okay.
two things that I'm watching today. For those who were aware of my dollar Swiss options, I've sold out the closest one. So the 85.5, I sold it out today and I'm keeping the 87 running. So that's pretty cool. Was a 3 months and the other one is a 6 months. So still some time to run on that one.
What's the shortest time frame amount of time that you buy when you're trading options?
Oh, it can go from a week to 6 months.
Oh
I
wow,
mean,
so you'll try some of those weeklies at times.
I sometimes do, if I see, but that's going to be depending on how the vols are ahead of events or a series of events. If they're not like too expensive, instead of doing a cash position and putting a stop loss in. I know you pay away premium, but it doesn't really have to be all the time going to your actual level. It can just take the direction and you still
Right.
make money.
I can't tell you the number of times where I've run out of time on an option trade, and then the next expiration works.
Yeah,
You
but
ever experience that?
you yourself, you do those fixed futures expirations, right?
No.
No? Oh, okay. Because I'm just doing like FX options, which are free maturity, free tenors, free strikes and everything. So
Yeah.
no,
All
but
right.
it's
Well,
I like it because I mean, depending on convictions, of course, but I kind of like it because this was a 3 month, so and I've sold it out after half a month or so, which makes that there's nearly all the time value is still in there. So that was a good one.
anyone know why Apple's down almost $3 pre-market? Is it on the elections in Taiwan and people are front running it?
I don't
Because
know.
people are saying if there ever is an invasion, um, you know, Apple's dead. It would lose.
Isn't there something with the sales in China which are
Oh,
going
they
down now?
lowered prices on phones there in China, so they're
Mhm.
not. Well, the government can't buy them, so that was part of their market, government officials. But it's down sharply. So here's an example of options, and I'm about to swear them off. So I where was it? Here I started buying January puts, and we had one more high, 180 strike. Okay,
Mm.
and with a month, and here it got down to 180, and there
Yeah,
was some premium in them. They expire this Friday, so I had one opportunity to
yeah.
take it at the money, and unless I moved right away on Tuesday,
Mm.
now they could just go off the board worthless unless Apple does something like this by
Yeah.
Friday. But guys, don't trade options. All right. Yeah, you don't know how long I've tried to beat this game. And you get, if your timing isn't perfect, and you have to get both direction and the time right.
Yeah.
So that's tough.
Yeah, I don't know how it goes really in individual stock options, but if you can sell it out before expiry when it takes your direction, that's
Yeah.
perhaps the best thing. Because
Yeah,
I
that's what
mean,
I'll do.
I think that 75% of my options don't go to expiry.
Yeah.
Uh, they don't. They just take the
You're
direction and make.
are they at the money?
Um,
You don't go
no.
very deep out of the money, do you?
Well, I mean, in dollar Swiss terms, I was about let's say a good 2% out of the money on the one and 4% on the other. But
Okay.
then, I mean, it took the direction straight after year end. So I
Well,
took
that's
the
not
85
bad,
and a half.
2%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people. Well, look, when I was buying 180s, Apple was 10% off that strike.
Yeah. So
So yeah, so that's a good rule of thumb for option traders. Don't be a hero on strike prices.
no, I think, well, I mean, maybe we don't have the time to dig too deep into it, but it doesn't really have to go to strikes, depending on which one that you're doing. Yeah, Charles is doing spreads. You can do that too, to cheapen up the premium. Yeah, there's a lot of different things to
Okay.
do, but we'll talk
Now,
about that another day perhaps.
okay. I think copper, I know Blake follows it fairly closely. It's bipolar, Blake. I mean, now it looks bad. It looked bad, then it looked good, and now it's could be looking bad again. Maybe we go for these lows. Doesn't look
Yeah.
great. You have a view on it, on the copper?
I don't actually.
Yeah,
It's
how
one of
can
those,
you?
and
It's sideways.
what's that?
It's sideways forever.
Yeah, yeah. Here, I'll grab the charts real quick. I'll
All
show
right,
you.
go
I'll
ahead.
show you why I just kind of left it off, because what happened is, you had this breakout of this move
Yeah,
above the
right,
what I thought was a triangle, right? So
right.
you broke above that resistance, and then there was no follow through.
Yeah,
So now here we are back below the triangle, which theoretically, you could say, well, that is a false breakout, and so therefore we should see a breakdown, which wouldn't be surprising to me, because if you look at the price action in the Aussie, you look at the
yeah,
price action of you look at China, and you look at the
yeah,
Chinese markets. I mean,
yeah,
they're bearish. I mean, yeah, we are
yeah,
up 1% today, but look, I mean, we're at fresh lows, for the year.
yeah,
Well, for the last couple of years, actually. And, you have, Hang Seng's, rolling over, which isn't, I guess it's a China proxy. You got the Aussie rolling over. I mean, and this weekend, in case you missed it, well, actually, I think, was it Monday morning? Well, Sunday night, Monday morning in China, China did not cut the 1 year um, uh, uh, lending facility, and that was like something that the market was like, hey, well, aren't we going to get a rate cut from the PBOC here? And we didn't get it, and so that's leading to an Aussie breakdown. That's not the only thing, but there's a few
yeah.
things that are happening. So as far as copper goes, yeah, it looks like crap, and I sure would be nervous if I was long, because copper should be rallying in this environment with equities and with risk and everything else. You should see a move higher in copper, but you're just not getting it. And that is, like I said, I think that's a bit of a risk for anybody who's long risk and long right now.
Well, I
Speaking
want
of
to
which,
before you get going, I want to just let our attendees and viewers know that if you were inside of the ForexAnalytix community, Blake put out a great short in Bitcoin at the top, and he
yeah,
talked
thank you
about it.
very much. Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
we put in a pattern in play right here at 48,000.
nice.
And just put in a new inverted head and shoulder pattern for the dollar index. So the dollar index is breaking out today.
Okay,
So if you're not aware, it is.
that
And you got the
measures higher than what I was looking for. It measures 538.
yeah, it measures like over 510, I think.
Okay,
That's because it's a complex,
yeah,
so it should take us to about, right, yeah,
okay.
105.10
It's
roughly.
over 61.8 by a bit, but what's the difference?
Let's see here. It would be above the 618 slightly, which would
Yeah,
make sense. The thing is if the dollar index is, a lot of people would argue it's bearish. A lot of people would argue it's going down, lower and a lot lower. And, you got a lot of dollar bears out there. So it wouldn't surprise me if the dollar index truly is bearish, that we get a short squeeze and we squeeze past resistance, because that's what happens in squeezes, right? If
yeah,
you get, bear market squeezes, no matter what type of bear market you're talking, they are violent, they're ugly, they're nasty, they're convincing. So if everybody, like I said, everybody's top trade of 2024 is dollars going to hell in a handbasket, right?
yeah. That's
So
because
like,
Dalio says it's the biggest lockdown, lock trade is just being short the dollar. I think
yeah,
it's
I mean,
Dalio.
there's a lot of people that are very, very bearish the dollar, and it could squeeze and just squeeze past resistance. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
and prove everybody wrong, at least in the short term, and and really do some damage. But this is the first day of the breakout, which doesn't mean it's broken out. this is like day one, and day one doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. But you look at like the euro, the euro's, probing support right now. This is 108,
You were short
108.80s.
that last week.
Are you still short?
No, you were short that
Oh,
last week.
yes, I was. And I'm actually short again. So it's, I don't mind being short that. The
Working it.
cable. Now, I'll ask Ryan and KMan about this, because we had mixed data coming out of the UK today, but the pound, and let me show you why this is such important support, just so if you don't know, I'm just going to educate you really quick. Right here, it is the 618 at the 126.20s. We hit 126.20 and bounced. So if you didn't know that level existed and why it was so important last week, it's because you can see that red line through there. Very important. So we came and hit it today, and then we bounced. But tell us a little bit about that economic data that you guys got out of the jobs data today, Ryan.
Well, it wasn't bad at all. I don't know what bad data was in it.
Bad meaning below expectations, because you had the average hourly earnings really showed a big decline.
Yeah, well, which is good for the BOE, obviously, and rates and whatnot. But it's still, apart from the ex-bonus number, which came in as expected, the bonus number came in lower than expected. Quite a steep drop, but we still got wages up, in the 6%. It's still very, very sticky. On the jobs front, the jobs was okay. There was nothing horrific in it. No bad news. Job gains. Although there was a bit of a drop in the payrolled employees on the month, down 24k instead of down 13. But unemployment rate stayed unchanged. Was expected to jump a pip. Again, you might think there's some seasonal holiday hiring factors coming into that, being November data, but nothing for the pound to get all bearish over. And as we can see right now, it's holding up slightly better than the likes of the euro and Aussie at the moment.
Now, if everybody was like Dale and took like a 40-mile walk yesterday for the holiday, right, Dale?
Yeah, 40.
Did you walk 40 miles?
Yeah, divided by 40.
All right. Well, if everybody was off yesterday, if you weren't here on the F.A.C.E show, because we ended up broadcasting. I figured, well, shoot, I was going to be awake anyway, so might as well broadcast. And we were talking about the fact that the euro sterling could really break down, and I think both Ryan and KMan and myself, we were all just looking at it going, man, it looks pretty vulnerable. And I still think it does. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the big data.
We got a in unison.
Data for I think tomorrow the inflation data coming out. That's probably going to be the main mover for the sterling. We do have retail sales out as well later in the week, but I guess tomorrow is likely going to be a big test for that 126.10.20 in the cable.
Yeah,
and if you look at the 126.10 in the cable, it's been holding and capping about 25 times over the past months, so it's really a big level.
Yeah, it is a huge pivot. This and like we discussed yesterday, what my cursor is basically on. Well, we have a trend line here, which would be a channel if we ended up holding it. But we have the 200 DMA, the 50 DMA. There's so much support down here, and if it breaks, it breaks. It's going to be ugly. But you're right. CPI is probably going to be one of the catalysts, to be watching. So we are about 6 minutes away from the Canadian data, and the dollar CAD ripped higher right into the 200 DMA, and it's stopping just ahead of the 50 DMA. We're above previous support, acting as current resistance right now at 134.70. How are you guys playing it today? Because we are, and I just want to make sure that we're clear here and everybody can see this. You take this entire drop of this huge range that we're in, I say huge range. It's a range we've been in since the summer of 2022. summer, fall of 2022. So you're talking over a year worth of a range. We're above the 38% retracement. So do you guys, how do you feel about this here? I mean, is this the place to be buying the dollar CAD, Ryan?
No.
Okay.
I'm looking. Oh, sorry. Are you pointing at a particular level?
No, well, I mean, do you get long
now.
now, or do you think
No.
it squeezes further? Do you think we squeeze?
No, I said on the flow show, I'm. If you want a potentially perfect scenario, given that the dollar's so strong this morning, you want a really hot CPI number from Canada to send the dollar CAD lower, and then maybe grab that dip. That's what I'm looking for over these numbers.
Well, okay. Well, let's stop there for a second, and let me ask KMan. We have as let me try to get to Tuesday. Oh, there it is, right here. I was on Wednesday. I was like, what the hell? Deflationary figures have been the norm globally. US, maybe Canada as well. So, are you expecting strong inflation data out of Canada today?
Well, I think the risk is always that we get some kind of sticky numbers, just like we had in Europe and even in the States, right? So that's what's expected as well today. I think if they come out weaker than expected, dollar CAD is probably going to make firewood of that 135 figure 15. If indeed we get a strong number, anywhere 134 figure 30, I expect a decent support to come in there.
Okay, yeah, and I would assume any dip back down to
And
134 is going to find a
yeah,
lot
and
of
you know what? I
a lot of
mean,
buyers.
yeah, and you know what? The inflation data have the latest inflation data. The market is already seemingly looking beyond them. So if it has to be a really big beat to really turn stuff around. So I would say get us like 1 or 2 tenths above expectations or so. That's probably going to be a quick 40-50 point dip in the dollar CAD, and then it's likely, I would say likely, going to rebound of the 134 figure 30, right?
Yeah. So it's going to be a really big mover, I think, today. So we're gonna come up to that in just a second. I do want to point out, and KMan, you were right in pointing this out earlier. And remember, guys, we talk about this and we talk about a lot of things here in the chat room. You guys should be in the chat room where we discuss, what's happening and, all the news and events that are coming out, all the earnings that are being posted, from like, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley today, PNC. We've got all of those earnings here and a breaking down of what we're seeing. But KMan, you were right in pointing out Waller's speech today is going to be pretty important. He really kicked off the dovish, FOMC, if you will. And don't forget, he is a voter. He is a voter this year. And so his speech is at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, so that's in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and if he changes his tune at all, you're going to see this dollar just rip higher, because remember that it set off he's not expected to change, but if he does, that's going to be pretty key today. So I think people are really underappreciating the importance of his speech today. So anyway, I'm glad you brought that up earlier. I think it's going to be key. All right, we're just a second away from data. Let me pull back up the chart. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Here's the data flash, and we are less than a minute. Dale, it's so nice to have you back.
Oh,
so nice to have
Mike.
you back. Yeah, and you have an interview with Giles Coughlin today, right?
I sent him a reminder. I don't see him in the house, so we'll see. I know he's in transition from that brokerage house to his own deal. So
he was moving away from that Hong Kong broker where he was the analyst there. Got it.
Anyway,
all right.
I'll be a Forex guest hunter and try.
Yeah, well, I'll let you guest hunt, and if we can't find him, I'm sure you're gonna be able to lock him down for moving forward. All right, guys. We're just a few seconds away from data. Oh shoot, let me put this on an intraday chart. There we go. There's a 15-minute
There
chart
we
of the
go.
dollar CAD.
Bit higher than expected, 3.7 instead of 3.5 on the trimmed, 3.9 on the common. The headline in line with expectation, 3.4, and the median also a couple of ticks higher, and that's all sort of as expected, but all of them are a little bit higher than the prior reading.
How about
And the
that
Empire State
Empire?
Manufacturing data was
Empire,
really good, too.
absolutely shocking. Absolutely
Yeah, that's
shocking.
a-
Minus
that's-
43.7.
So the
That's an
dollar's
ugly
coming
number.
off on that.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Dollar's coming off on that.
It is,
A
yeah,
little
the
bit.
dollar's coming off, but let's see if it can sustain, because remember, the dollar's in breakout territory. So, there are a lot of people that are going to be sitting in the wings or in the wings right now going, yeah, let the dollar come down a little bit because I'm going to buy it back. Because I mean, look at the euro. We popped 12, 14 pips and then sellers stepped in immediately. So same with the Aussie.
10-year
The Aussie
hardly
tried to
came
pop
off
up
at
and
all.
what's
10
that?
years still up, 10 years still up 5.5 bips.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because if you look at the shorter end of the curve, the ones that have been breaking down, like the 2-year and the 5-year, they've really had a bit of a recovery. And then you got the 30-year that's not far away from breaking out to the upside. So keep an eye on the 30-year here on the long end. So any luck with
Giles? No.
No, with Giles. Okay.
Sent a
Well,
message on Twitter, etc.
all right, guys. Well, hey, what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap it up for today. Dale will lock down Giles and bring him back in. I'm sure he wants to bring him back in soon. And
I usually
Dale
get
is awesome about bringing in great guests throughout the course of the week. Sometimes
we have some new people Friday, and not many get away with their prison break from F.A.C.E. Okay. I have the I'll send out the bloodhounds.
All right.
We'll get them. All
Sounds
right.
good. Sounds good. So, hey, thanks everybody. I hope you had a great 3-day weekend. For those of you that did enjoy the 3-day weekend, for everybody else, we'll be here tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. So, I'll turn it over to you, Dale.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Ryan. And
Cheers, mate.
KMan, for your little mini lesson on options, and good
Thank you very
looks
much,
today.
Dale.
Good looks and good hunting, Dream Team. And don't just count your pips, count your blessings. We'll see you tomorrow. I know I do have Luke Roman on Thursday, so mark that in your calendar.
Woo!
And
That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, so see everyone tomorrow. Good hunting.
Bye, mate.